They want to do certain things with their life, which are not outrageous. If you're an American and you want to buy a home and you work hard, you should be able to have the ability to buy a home. It's part of the American dream. This one's probably going to get me in some hot water, but you know, well, welcome back everybody to the video podcast, wherever you're watching. I want to talk about some things that are on everyone's minds, or it's been on my mind, and I'm sure it's on every American's mind that we're currently in. And that is the state of our administration, our political administration, and how, man, it's been a rough, almost 4 years now. And that's someone, I've made this video in different ways, talking about the different political changes and then what my point of view is versus living with a conservative or Republican president, commander-in-chief, while I was in special operations, serving in, the war on terror from 2000, or really 2001 to 2012, but I served from 2000 to 2012. And then also being in business and being an entrepreneur and being self-employed, if you will, during those same kind of times. And I will tell you what, last 4 years has been a kick in the dick, not gonna lie. And I know that they try to put, and first things first, I'm gonna talk about the economy. I know that they try to put lipstick on this thing and, say that inflation's never been lower, we've gotten a really good, it's a really good year, unemployment is the lowest it's ever been, etc. And they paint a picture. But you can put lipstick on a pig, and what is it? It's still a pig. And the way that they have been looking at these stats is they look at it from, oh, look what it was in 2022 and look what it is in 2024. And it's like, well, 22 was the worst of all time ever. So you got it to raise a couple points from 2022, which means we're still net negative. We're still below. So I just want to look at this. And the reason why that I bring these things up, and you can put whatever statistic out there that you want, but at the end of the day, I know what I feel. I know what my team feels. I know what my employees feel. I know the conversations that are happening here in the office. I know that I have young people that make decent money that want to go buy a home. They want to eat healthier. They want to do certain things with their life, which are not outrageous. If you're an American and you want to buy a home and you work hard, you should be able to have the ability to buy a home. It's part of the American dream. If you want to buy healthy, you don't want to buy garbage food for your kids, then you should be able to afford to buy real healthy food for your kids. And it's harder now than ever with the cost of insurance, the cost of medications, the cost of doctors, the cost of fuel and energy, the cost of food, and now your house. So I was doing some research. This is interesting. Home price, this is just one, this is a couple sources, but, and I challenge you to go do your own research, but home prices are up 47% since 2020, 47%. And I don't think it's even this much. I think it's less than this, but I have to go with some of the things that I found. Wages are only up. Their gross median wages are only up 22%. And to be able to afford a mortgage, you need about, what they're saying, I think it's more than that, 28% of your gross monthly income. Let's look at that. And I reverse engineered what the average median wage was $59,428. And I basically came up to, I'm going to pull this up real quick. So for that, this is not real, by the way. This is almost impossible to deal with. So I was like, okay, if I make this amount of money, what kind of house can I afford? So I came up, and this is pushing it, at a $175,000 house. Are those out there? Yeah, sure, they're out there. But the median home price in 2024 is $420. Remember, it went up 47% since 2020. 47%. Assuming you would need that, that means a person that made, and I came up to 65 grand, so maybe a little bit more than the 59. I came up to 65. And if you did an FHA loan where you could put as low down, you had a decent credit score, which hopefully that you do. There's a lot of variables in this. 3.5% down, so you have to put a down payment of 61 plus another 1% of closing cost, which is probably going to be at another $65,000 to $10,000. So somebody who makes $65K need to have saved, $15,000 to $20,000 for closing costs on a $175,000 home, which you can hardly find now, especially in our area. The median home price is $420,000. The approximate salary with the current interest rate of say 6 point something to 7% on a 30-year mortgage, the approximate salary would need to be $121,000. $121,000 when the median gross income is $59,000. So everybody knows nobody needs to know, nobody needs to be, talked into that the economy is shit right now, that things cost more money, we're not making more money. It's becoming difficult, right? Obviously. Then we have the international conflicts. Almost out the gate, Ukraine and Russia went to war, and we're just literally putting money in a shredder over there. Certain sects of Palestine attacked Israel. Boom, now we have a Palestinian-Israeli conflict. And all of a sudden, recently, now we have Iran that's involved. So we're on the verge of World War III on multiple fronts. This is when a leader is asleep at the wheel. And, coming from somebody who fought in wars that maybe were questionable, or let's say call them conflicts that were questionable, it's frustrating to see these now that are also questionable when men can get together, real true leaders, real men can get together and hash this out, if you will. And I know that because of what Trump did during his time in office. There were no conflicts. The only conflict that he was given was ISIS. If you remember, ISIS started during the last part of Obama's administration, and they were doing some gnarly stuff. Trump took office, and all of a sudden ISIS just went away. What most Americans don't know is special operations were employed to make ISIS go away. And it did, quietly. It just went away. We didn't see it in propaganda anymore. We didn't see it in the news. It just went away because guys that I know went to work. And there weren't young 18-year-olds getting blown up with bombs and doing dumb stuff and putting, whatever. I digress. But nonetheless, a president, a commander-in-chief, looked at his assets and handled the business and made the world safer. Made a world to where people could travel, people could go places, you could do things, and you weren't worried about what conflict was happening. I just got off the phone with a good friend, which I'm going to have on the show. Again, he's been on the show many times, Vincent Vargas, who's been working heavily with the Border Patrol. And I was doing some research, and I was like, okay, over the course of years, and I'll throw some graphs up here. I'm sure you've seen about legal immigration, how low it was when Trump was in office right before he left, and then what it is now. And over the last so many years, it's over 10 million illegals. I've got sources saying over 15 million. The worst part of it is it doesn't make sense because it's the worst of the worst. You have to ask yourself, why? Why would they allow this many people to come into our country? And I don't think it's for the votes. What I think it is, this is Nick's personal opinion, is that it's straight to create chaos. Straight to create chaos so that if the military had to step in and they said, well, we have to put in martial law, it's for your own safety, then they'd have a legit reason too. And that only makes me think that the only reason they'd want to do that is just absolute power, because absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? It's not about what's the best for Americans. It's what's best for them, whoever them are. I'll let you figure that out. The reality is this, ladies and gentlemen, is we cannot stay on this path. Whether you like the man or not, it doesn't really matter. This is the thing that I tell my mom all the time. This has nothing to do with your feelings. It's just about the facts. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Is your life better? Is your quality of life better? Is America in a better state than it was 4 years ago? I say not. Taxes are higher. I'm paying more. I'm paying more on taxes, but I'm also paying more daily. What I would like to do is continue to have small businesses thrive. I would still have the middle class raise up and become more stable, because that's who pays the taxes. The more healthier businesses are and can thrive, the better they can take care of their employees. The better the economy is, those employees have it easier at the pumps. They have easier at their child care, everything that they need, right? America can't afford to stay on this path another 4 years. We need a leader who says the reality is the buck stops here, or really one that says it, who puts America first, who puts American companies first, who puts American values and American families first. And I know that the people that watch this channel are typically on this page. I have a few outliers, which I appreciate, and I'm glad that they're here and listening, because I do appreciate their feedback. Can't all be on one side, I guess. It's the greatest thing when I was a kid. I remember adults having, in the 80s, the adults would have these, distinctly remember adults would have these conversations, and one would be, an independent, a Democratic, Republican, and they would all talk and they'd all still be friends. And we've gotten away from that. But the reality is, whatever this party is, you have a political party who was not voted in, and then they just took it. Meanwhile, they sell that the other political party, Trump, is a fascist. Well, Trump got the votes from the Republican Party. A dictator is one who doesn't need the votes because they're just in charge. I digress. Anyways, guys, I know this video is coming out right towards the end. You have a few more days to vote, but I challenge you to focus on the facts. Don't focus on your feelings. Focus on the country, America, the Americans that are around you, your family members, the people that in your life that own businesses, your family members that own businesses, and pick a choice that you feel is the best way for America. Because listen, dare I say it, I want America to become great again. I want America to be healthier again. And I think the deck that is being stacked in front of us is a very good one. And if they win, you're going to see a lot of change. And we're going to need a lot more than 4 years, but it's a start. But the reality is we can't keep going the way that we're going. So make the vote so strong that they can't fake it, right? They can't steal it. All right, that's it. We never quit. We never surrender. We always keep moving forward. Share this with a friend. Peace.